Kyrie Irving stole the show in a historic night for the Eastern Conference as the NBA All-Star Game produced the highest score in the history of the sport, 318 points, breaking the record that was set in 1987, which was 303. You're watching Sport this morning on Channels Television. I'm Cecilia Amorbe. Coming up on the program, England qualified for the last 32 of the CAF Champions League despite losing their return leg in Togo. And Nigerian National League new season gets underway at the weekend with the return of stationary stores, but they came up with a draw. Also on the program, Athletics Federation of Nigeria begins this season with a long-distance race with over 500 athletes competing in Ijebu. And the Nigeria Canoe Slalom Federation held Solidarity Olympic course as the sports also gets a slot at the National Sports Festival.
Over the ball here, there's the target. Lensina Traore. Morales puts it in, but it's over Traore. Well, it was headed back across goal by Distan. Can he get the shot in here? Oh, it's in from Traore! A debut goal inside 4 minutes. So back from Hernandez, now Taylor. Oh, Guzman is coming in and equalises!
Goalkeeper makes the save, so be it.
Oh, what a bad back pass, and Naismith's in and scores! Everton celebrate, Swansea capitulate. Oh, what was Taylor doing? It's a gift for Naismith, who's just come.
The right decision.
Pinar. Ooh, he just about got there, but Everton have it back through Naismith, tackled by Richards. Yeah. Penalty given.
Clear penalty. Stretching, no complaints at all. Again, sloppy play from Swansea, may have capitulated here.
It's 3-1 Everton.
Good morning, was Ayo Onabolo is my guest for the program this morning. Ayo, welcome to the program.
Hi Cecilia, nice to be here.
Good to have you here. Now let's just get started with the NBA, of course. That's the biggest of the weekend, the All-Star weekend. It actually leads up to all the hypes and all the billings, right?
Absolutely, Cecilia. I mean, it started with action on Friday night. That will be Saturday night right here in Nigeria, and it was a lot of action. The three-point challenge, the shooting stars competition. It was just a spectacle to behold. It was the 63rd NBA All-Star, by the way, and it culminated in the early hours of this morning. Some of us had to stay awake to catch the game, the Eastern All-Stars against the Western All-Stars, and it was such a magical moment to serve in New Orleans.
And this was actually a historic one. I mean, we were expecting Kevin Durant, of course, he had the high score, 38 points. But Ivan, where did he come from? Because we learned that Cleveland Cavaliers is really not so happy. There was actually a time he had issues with, his teammate. There was a bus stop and all that. But this is a man who came and stole the show for the East.
Now, the Cleveland Cavaliers are a team in transition right now, okay? They just fired the manager, appointed the new manager. They're not doing so well in the league, but since the change in managerial position, they've had a consistent run of form. Now, Kyrie Irving is such a young man, fantastic player. He plays from the point guard. I always knew he was going to become an all-star one day, and it didn't take him more than 2 seasons before hitting at the biggest stage, in the NBA. And he scored 31 points, had 14 assists. It doesn't get bigger when you're a point guard playing against the likes of, Blake Griffin, who had 11 dunks on the night. Some very sick display of basketball right there. So you must give it to Kyrie Irving. Nobody will argue with the fans' choice as the MVP at the end of it all.
And Carmelo Anthony was another surprising one also. We know he's not doing so well in his team also. These two guys that have to look forward to the All-Star game to prove a point that they have so much to offer if only their club will understand how good they are. Anthony, 30 points?
Absolutely. Right? Now, the funny thing about the NBA is the fact that you're an all-star doesn't mean your team will do so well. Yeah. I think this is the first all-star where you'd have a whole lot of all-stars in teams that are not in playoff places at the moment. When you talk about Carmelo Anthony, he's one of them. Kyrie Irving is one of them. Kobe Bryant, even though he couldn't play because of his injury, is one of them. So the all-star now sets a showpiece where you play with the best against the best. And when you score some incredible numbers, Carmelo had 8 3-pointers on the night. It's a record, a new record in the All-Star now. I don't think your coach needs to know how good you are after that kind of display. It was magical.
It was really magical. I think I was looking at the history, the historic moment was made when you had about how many? 318 of the night. 303 was the last one. That was far back in 1987.
Now, it's interesting. It all boils down to the lineup. When the fans voted all over the world, I also voted, and I saw the starting lineup for both teams. I knew there would be a whole lot of points in that particular game, and that was exactly what happened. Griffin will always give you 20 plus points. As a matter of fact, this season he's at 30 plus points in over 10 games for the Los Angeles Clippers. So when you have Kevin Durant, who will shoot with reckless abandon, Steph Curry of the Golden State Warriors, the list is endless. There was no way they wouldn't beat that record. I had no doubts about it in my mind. I was just waiting for when the record would be broken.
Now, before the game, the hype was on Kevin Durant and LeBron James. But these guys they were down. Carmelo Anthony and Ivan were the men who actually stole the show for the night.
Absolutely. Now, Kyrie Irving, he started a bit slowly, starting with the big boys. As a small boy, it's understandable with some inferiority complex. But when he got into his groove, boy, there was no stopping him. And then Carmelo Anthony, I've always known Carmelo Anthony to be a superstar.
Yeah, I remember what he did to 1920.
I was going to say that was very wicked of him, something I've not personally forgiven him for.
Practicing stand-up with the 19 boys.
He shot a lot of threes in that particular game, so I'm not surprised he did that at this time around. It was just a wonderful moment.
Yeah, a wonderful moment, definitely. The All-Star game lived up to expectations last night. Now, let's just go straight to athletics, where the Athletics Federation of Nigeria, started the season with a long-distance race at the Gateway International Stadium in Ogun State in Ejebode. And of course, it was really highly competitive, where you had more than 500 athletes participating. The athletes came in from Ogun State, Oyo State, Delta State, Anambra, Ekiti, Cross River, Ondo, all of them converging for that competition. The very first one AFN is having for the year. I could meet the chairman talking about Solomon Ogba. He said it's part of conditioning for the athletes, and this is the first way to go. Starting high, and of course, before bringing it down, 400 meters race, you have a 200 meters race, and you have some stars that were actually in Ukraine, and of course, Mauritius, Divine Odudu. That to me, that's our biggest star at the event. He was also here, and of course, Solomon Ogba, when he was speaking at the event, he talked about the usual poor facilities in the country, saying it's been something that has really affected the sports over the years. These are the athletes competing in one of the race for the event. Where the athletes, some of them actually spoke with us on camera after the event, said they were really happy that this event took place. This will definitely help them to set the pace for the new season. Who knows, one of them might just make the Commonwealth Games if possible. Let's listen to Solomon Ogba and of course Divine Odudu and Abi.
We don't have recreational facilities anymore. We don't have the parks. We don't have where people can exercise or to jog. We don't have that anymore. All this have been built up by people. So that's the fact. Normally all over the world you have a recreational facility in every community where you can exercise. It's part of a conditioning program towards getting that is ready to run fast during the season.
Well, I feel very happy because this is the first time running with the senior athletes. I've been in the youth and the junior last year. This is just an opportunity for me to run with the senior. I'm very happy for this.
What's your focus?
Well, my focus is to get to the higher level, which is the dream of every athlete, to make the country proud, to make the state proud. But first of all, is your name before the country. So I think that's my target, to make my country proud.
I'm looking for way up to go to Commonwealth game.
Okay.
Yeah, and to go there, not to just go there, but to go there and perform well, and even break the new record.
Yeah, we're definitely expecting that from them, breaking the record. That's David Abiye. Okay, it's a good one for her. And of course, moving on straight to the CAF Champions League. Enyimba, of course, get a spot, but Kano Pillars, despite winning, crashing out. They actually lost in the first leg, losing 3-1 away. And of course, at home, they won 2-1, but that was not enough for them. But for Enyimba, who won 3-1 at home, lost 2-1 away, got a spot in the last 32. Now, if you look at the two teams that were supposed to represent Nigeria, now is one in the qualifying after that loss. And of course, in aggregate, they won 4-3. When they got to Togo, the chairman actually said something that they were not really treated well.
I mean, it was so...
But it's good that they qualified anyway, because if they had not qualified, the big thing would have been because of the shabby treatment.
Absolutely, Cecilia. I had the opportunity to see pictures of the supposed hotel where they were supposed to lodge, and the first situation was the fact that, I mean, they were well received at the airport. They had to make alternative arrangements just to get them. Imagine a hotel which is actually supposed to be a conference center, no roof, dilapidated building, and you're expecting a team of players who will be playing the following day to stay in that kind of place. No food, no water, absolutely nothing. I am just so glad that they were able to weather the storm and still grind out a 2-1 result. It was, as an away team, you would not want to experience worse conditions like Liba experienced when they went to Togo. Yeah,
and it was also good that they actually got a goal out of that one. You have Abdurrahim Bashir actually scoring their only goal there where they lost 2-1. And of course, in the Crown Champions in 2003-2004, they are now through to the last 32, and of course facing Bamako there. Move on to the National League now. Of course, the most anticipated league is finally here, and Stationary Stores, the picture you're seeing on the screen, were actually one of the games that were played at the weekend that ended in a draw. For them, well, it's a good way to start. Now everyone were actually waiting for Stationary Stores to return. They return, of course, not really with a bang, with a draw.
I wouldn't say it was such an impressive way to start the season. Stationary Stores, they've been out of it for a long time, but the name alone will still send shivers down the spines of the opponents. I expected a much better performance, but it's good when you don't lose at home. I just hope they can pick it up from there. At least Lagos fans now have a lot to look forward to
as far
as National League football is concerned. And even see the crowd is starting mounting with this one. I mean, the crowd coming to the stadium. Subsequent games, we might even have more people actually coming to the stadium to cheer them to a victory. We'll just look at some of the results for the weekend. In Group A, you have FRC Abuja and Adamawa United. It was 1-0 draw. Mighty Jets beating Spotlight FC of Katsina 3-0. Sokoto United and Kwara United in Jos ended goalless, and of course Kogi and Ranches Bees 3-1. Insurance of Benin and First Bank FC of Lagos, Insurance winning that one by a lone goal. Moving on to the next one, which is actually the final one on the segment, talking about Kenya in Nigeria. Now the Federation is actually organizing an Olympic course for coaches and of course some of the athletes. This will actually help them to prepare well for major international events. I'm talking about the Olympic Games, and not just the Olympic Games, and of course the sports is getting a slot at the National Sports Festival. And in this particular course that is starting today, to start today, Monday, and ends on the 21st of this month, we are going to be having about 27 coaches from different theory classes now participating, and the various theory practice will be in kayak, slalom, and of course local